Hi there, my name's Prue and I'm a specialist in study skills. Now these are my top tips for teachers to help their secondary students develop the study skills they're going to need to achieve their personal best at school. First one, don't assume that your students actually know how to study. So whenever you tell your students that there's a test coming up, just take 5 minutes and brainstorm. What could we do to study for this test? What approaches will we take? What sort of questions will we practice? Get the students to brainstorm, to share ideas. You'll be surprised actually at how few ideas some students can come up with. You're trying to guide the students into making their study as active as possible. We want to avoid the situation where students just read their notes over and over and over and cross their fingers and hope that it magically jumps into their head. So we're trying to guide them in how can you make your study active. Read it, take it away, see what you can write down, see what you can say out loud. That's much more effective. Reading it over and over, slowest, most ineffective way of studying. Now in relation to that, that leads into our second tip, which is to do everything you can to encourage your students to make really good study notes or summaries. This means you'll have to model how to do it, particularly as every subject is very different. Maybe provide scaffolds in the early stages. The whole thing with self-regulated learning is that we start off modelling, we provide scaffolds, and then we withdraw that support. So the aim is to help students build those skills, but we need to give them a lot of support in the early stages. Keep examples from past students so that you can show students other examples of what good and bad study notes looks like. Maybe set making study notes as homework. Set it as a task so that students are actually doing it. Some teachers even keep a record book where they actually mark off when students have made their study notes for each topic. Another great idea is whenever you have a test, make a rule that if you bring your study notes in the day of the test, you get a couple of bonus marks and you can have a look through the study notes, make a few comments while they're actually doing the test. So it's a great idea to really try and encourage all students to do this, because you'll find that not every student is, and it's such an important step to developing students' understanding of what they're learning, to organising their content, to getting ready for tests and exams. My last tip is for the last lesson of every day. What you do is you finish 5 minutes early. Have your class take out their diaries. If they don't have a diary, here's a piece of paper, and get them to prioritise their work for the evening. Get them to think about how long the work will take and actually prioritise and write down time slots next to each bit of work. The really important thing is that we found that if students make a written plan before they leave school, sure, there's no guarantee they'll stick to it, but the subconscious is processing it. They'll find it a lot easier to actually make themselves do it when they get home. And I think the benefit of having each student at least having thought about what they need to do that night is enormous. So doing that in the last 5 minutes can make an enormous difference with your students. Hope you find some of the tips on this page useful. Sign up there and we'll send you a little summary sheet, and we'll also send you no more than twice a term a couple of other tips to help you along the way. All the best with helping your students develop great study skills.